Hello, fellow Voyagers. Jess here with Odyssey Human, here today to talk about how to supercharge your imagination. Welcome to the channel. This is the place where we help you hack through the jungles of consciousness so that you can discover the hidden treasures inside of you. Everything you want is already there, waiting for you in the now moment. So welcome. If that sounds good to you, please subscribe. I do have some tools in the description box. You can check those out below if you need any assistance with manifesting, have a success story, or are looking for a free tool for resilience and emotional mastery. I have all of that below. So this topic, I want to talk about and clarify some things around imagination. I think sometimes there can be a simplistic explanation of how we use imagination to create reality. Again, last week I was like, we don't really create, we calibrate. So let me clarify that. We use our imagination in different ways. At least in my experience, this is what I can discern in my awareness is I imagine in different types of ways, depending on what I'm feeling in my body. And that to me is the discerning factor of, my mind is the one doing the imaginative act or the prediction or the simulation. My body, when I get my body on board with the imaginative act, that's when it feels different, right? Because the body is, the feeling part, the sensation part. And so synchronizing the two of them, that's where we can supercharge our manifestations. So I am going to attempt today to put into words these very subtle differences. So bear with me. I have some good examples for you of how we use our imagination, the different ways in which we use our imagination. And when I say that, I mean whether our body is going along with the images that we're creating or not, with our visualizations or not. So, because there's different types when you think about, your experience of how you imagine and imagination, what we know about imagination, about visualization, about prediction, about the pictures that we create in our mind's eye. Our brain is predictive. In the book, How Emotions Are Made by Lisa Feldman Barrett, I'll put the link below or the title in the description box. This book talks about the science of emotion and how we're not actually experiencing reality in real time, receiving the signal, processing it, and then reacting. We're actually predicting 90% of our experience is what we're predicting is going to happen, right? When we learn, we essentially are getting better at predicting things. And so, when there's prediction error, that means that we predicted something that then the sensory data conflicted with what we were predicting. And so then we can either ignore it or learn from it and predict differently in the future. So this is kind of how our imaginations play a part in this process. Kind of linking that science with my experience, what I've found is as we go through the day, we're simulating. I call it, this is the word that I'm assigning to it. We are simulating what we're about to experience, right? When you think about, okay, I'm going to head to the store today, I'm going to pick up some bread. When you make that decision that that's what you're going to do, you begin to simulate in your mind's eye that you're at the store, the things you need to get. So you're actually kind of like walking through the store or seeing the meat section or the bread section or the dairy section and grabbing that item, or you see yourself driving to, going along the route to the store. But this is a natural tendency of our imagination, is to simulate what we think we're about to experience, right? When we make a decision, we simulate as the person who then is going to experience that in the 3D. And our brain naturally does it. And what it feels very natural and effortless and easy when our body is on board, right? Because our body's like, oh yeah, we go to the store all the time. This is totally true. Our body goes by truth, right? When we are like, yes, this is true, I'm going to the store today, our body gets on board with us, and it just feels like a natural, very effortless process, and we don't have any resistance. What is resistance? Resistance is drag. It's like drag when you're flying. It's your body is holding back because it doesn't quite feel like it's true. Even if your mind is like, I want this to be true. I want this to be true. I'm going to see this. Our body creates the drag or resistance because our body's like, that's not true. We're not going to the store today. Oh, our car is broken or whatever. Whatever other truth your body is subscribing to, because you're not fully aligned. This is what alignment is. It's the body and mind working together. You know, you're not creating this drag for yourself where you're slowing down what then you will experience in the 3D. So, body and mind, getting them on board. When it's effortless, easy, natural, we're simulating. That's the term I'm going to call it for the rest of this video. And then suddenly, you know what happens when a piece of information comes up and suddenly our plans change. Oh, that store is undergoing construction. I can't go there today. Suddenly we see that on the internet or a friend tells us that. Oh, so then we pivot and we revise and we start to simulate something else. Oh, well, I'll go to the grocery store that's, you know, a little bit farther away that sometimes I go there as a backup. You know, so then we simulate going to that store in our mind's eye. Oh, okay. All right, cool. I've pivoted. I've revised. I literally revised. Again, revision is something we're naturally doing in our imagination. If you've ever thought about how you were going to have a tough conversation with someone and played it out in your mind's eye and it didn't quite end up the way you wanted, so then you went back and you tried it again, tried to use different words and imagined what they were going to say back to you. You revised, revision. Natural process, natural things that our imaginations are doing. But where we run into that getting into that state, maintaining that state, when we want to experience something in the 3D that we perceive as not being true yet or clear yet or happening yet, and we want to get our body on board with this is truth, one of the best tools that I know of is to infuse doubt. Everyone labels doubt as a bad thing. It's actually a great thing. Doubt is great for the situations where your body is not getting on board with you and you're not simulating naturally that you're already the person who has your desire, because that's what people mean when they say, just imagine it being true, just be that person. That's what they mean, is simulate as that person. Right? I've given an example in prior videos of imagine when you're at work and you suddenly decide that you are going to resign. You know, you give your 2 weeks notice and you start to simulate as that person who doesn't really work there anymore, right? You're already thinking about what's next. You're excited. You're happy. Your entire perspective changes on that job, even though you're still at the desk for 2 more weeks and you're sitting there and you're still interacting with the same people. Nothing has physically changed, but your attitude has changed. You're a lot happier. You're more able to detach, right, from that reality that you're physically in at that desk dealing with the same people that may drive you crazy. You're still dealing with them, but you have changed. Like, you are simulating as someone who's not there anymore, who's not attached to that world, who's not playing that game. So doubt, getting back to doubt. If you find yourself missing the mark of imagine or simulating your reality as you want it to be, and it feels a little more like fantasy, like fantasizing. When we fantasize using our imagination, there's this like unattainability to it. There's this like, again, our body is like, yeah, in your wildest dreams. That's what it feels like. You know, it's like this distant, like we're thinking about it, but our body isn't on board. That's what fantasizing to me feels like. It feels like unattainable. And sometimes I think with manifesting and using visualizations and imagining it as true, we can't quite get into the simulation realm. We need to get into the state of simulating versus fantasizing. And how we do that, how we get our body on board, is introduce some doubt. Introduce some doubt. So how do you know that's not true right now? How do you know that your chosen reality isn't true? How do you know that? How do you know? Something could have changed, right? People change their minds all the time. Something you just, when you get that piece of information, when suddenly something becomes, you literally jump realities. That's what it feels like, where you get a piece of information that something is or isn't true anymore. And you're like, oh, just a little piece of data that totally pivots you to a different reality, right? That you found out that someone was lying, or you found out that someone was telling the truth, or you found out that you actually passed the test, or you interpreted the situation completely wrong. And, this happened to me. I got a letter from my bank. I was in a dispute with a vendor. I looked at the subject line of the letter and it said, "We declined your request." And it ended up being something totally different. It wasn't even, I just assumed instantly that it was the dispute because, again, when we make these assumptions and then we get a little piece of information, it was like, oh, I totally misinterpreted that. And it's now in my favor. The situation is now in my favor where, oh, that wasn't the dispute at all. It was something out of left field I would have never expected, and I'm glad they denied my request because it was someone trying to open a credit card in my name. Oh my gosh. Like, I'm glad I got that letter and was made aware of it, and it wasn't what I expected. So this is how do you know? Let's go back to doubt. Infusing doubt, when our bodies aren't going along and simulating with us and making it natural and effortless and easeful, because that's where we really supercharge. That's where our imagination becomes reality, when we're naturally just simulating that we're going to experience this, that we are that person already, that we're anticipating it, that it's playing out, and eliminating that drag. We eliminate that drag by infusing doubt. How do you know? How do you know it's not true? How do you know that reality that you want to experience isn't already true? How do you know? Do you know for sure? Dig into that. There's a seed of doubt there. If you really reach for it, and even you can list out the pieces of evidence that you have against thinking that this reality isn't already true, right? Especially if you're in a if we're talking about an SP, if you're in a no contact situation, you have no idea what the other person is experiencing. No idea what is happening. If it's an event that you perceive in the future, again, we have no idea how it's going to turn out. All possibilities all potentials exist. Like, we have no idea how that's going to go. Even if it's gone 99 times for one way, how do we know that the 100th time isn't the time where it takes off, where our business works, where it's a yes, where everything works out in our favor? How do you know? How do you know? Everything is possible. How do you know that situation, that 3D experience isn't already true? So infuse some doubt. List out the ways if you have to. List out the evidence that you have that it could potentially be true. This could literally potentially be true. And you'll find that your body goes along then with the simulation. When you infuse that doubt and really dig deep into it and find the truth in the doubt, if that makes sense. Find the truth in the doubt, your body will start to go along with you. It will start to be like, okay, we're going to simulate as this. We can get on board with anything is possible. Anything is possible. Cool. So, and you'll find that as you simulate then, as opposed to fantasizing or imagining with resistance, you could also call it, or forcing imagination, it feels forced when our body is saying, yeah, we're not totally on board with that. So those are all, terms I would use to describe when imagination feels a little forced, feels a little fake, feels a little delusional, feels a little whatever word you want to apply to it, and moves so that you can move into, we want to move away from that and supercharge our imagination and move into simulating. You're simulating, you're that person. So let me know what you think. I hope you found that helpful. Drop a comment below if you'd like to engage with me. I'm happy to engage with you. Let me know if you have any questions or how you experience, imagination, different flavors of imagination. How do you experience it? I'd be curious to hear your thoughts. So drop them below, and thanks for watching. Have a great day.